All right, in this video, we are going to talk about metals and nonmetals. So we're going to start with where they're located on the periodic table, and then we also will talk about properties of metals versus nonmetals. All right, so you can see that I have very quickly colored in this periodic table. So everything that is colored in blue is a metal. So metals are over on our left-hand side and below this staircase line. So the staircase line where you see the green elements, those are our metalloids. They have some metallic, some non-metallic properties, also called semi-metals. So everything below and to the left of the staircase are the metals, including that bottom section down there. So most of the elements are metals. Everything that I have colored red is a nonmetal. So our nonmetals are to the right and above the staircase. And additionally, hydrogen and helium. So notice, even though hydrogen's over here, it is a nonmetal since it is a gas. One of the activities that we will do in class is we will actually color in your periodic table too, because it makes it much easier to distinguish between our metals and our nonmetals when we have it colored. So this is again just one more representation of this. On the staircase, we have our metalloid, so it's the whole front of the staircase, and then the middle two on the back, Ge and Sb. Aluminum and polonium touch the staircase, but they are metals. So once again, your metals to the left and below the staircase and the bottom section. Nonmetals are to the right and above the staircase. Don't forget about hydrogen, that is a nonmetal. Our metalloids or semi-metals are the whole front of the staircase and the middle two on the back. On the colored copy on the first slide, notice I did not color in the UU elements since those are, still waiting to be named. We won't be tested on any of those. There is a little bit of confusion on AT. It's incredibly rare and radioactive, so it is not well studied. Some textbooks have it classified as a nonmetal. Some textbooks have it classified as a metalloid. You will not be asked about it. All right, so properties of our metals versus our nonmetals. Metals lose electrons to form positive ions because they have a lower number of valence electrons. Nonmetals gain electrons to form negative ions. And again, we're going to be talking about that when we talk about ionic radius a little bit more. All of our metals are solids at STP, except for mercury. Our nonmetals, we have some solids. We have one liquid, that would be bromine, and we also have some gases too. So if something is an element and it is a gas at STP, it is a nonmetal. Our metals have much higher melting and boiling points. Nonmetals have lower melting and boiling points. Metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. Nonmetals are not good conductors. Most metals have metallic luster or shine, so they look shiny, whereas our solid nonmetals have more of a dull appearance. Our metals are malleable, which means that they are bendable and shapeable. And our nonmetals are brittle. So when you try to bend a solid, it just breaks. It doesn't mold like a metal would. Metals are also ductile, which means that they can be drawn into wires, and nonmetals are not. We'll talk more about this throughout the unit, but our most reactive corner of our metals would be in the lower left-hand corner down by francium, and most reactive for nonmetals is fluorine, so upper right-hand corner, but not group 18. Group 18 is relatively unreactive. Now, our metalloids have a mixture of metallic and non-metallic properties. They're located on the staircase and sometimes called semi-metals. So we just have a couple of example problems. So atoms of metals tend to lose electrons to form positive ions. So if you forgot that, you could always take a look at a metal on the periodic table. So iron, and see that it loses electrons because it has the positive oxidation states on there. Most of our elements are metals. So on the first slide where I colored them in, most of them were blue and they were metals. A property of our metals is not low electrical conductivity because metals are good conductors. So that will be our answer. And C would not work because metals are malleable and metals have high melting and boiling points. At room temperature, which substance is the best conductor of electricity? So we are looking for a metal. So we look at the periodic table. You just want to pick the one that is a metal. So that would be silver. Ag is a metal. Which element is brittle in the solid phase and a poor conductor? So that sounds like a nonmetal. And we have to pick something that is a nonmetal and exists as a solid. So not calcium, because that's a metal, not strontium, that is a metal, not copper, that is also a metal. So sulfur is a nonmetal and it is a solid. And last one, the majority of the elements are on the periodic table are solids. We only have 2 liquids at STP and just a couple of gases.